Okay, so we got those chat messages there. Alright. Last chat active time, chat container, chat fading in, controls locked, last lock report, focus chat next frame. Ugh. So I think all this is chat stuff. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so I've got to do all these things. There's a whole lot of code here. I'm going to break everything. This is going to be pretty nasty. Ugh. Okay, so basically what we want to do is if this .m active, otherwise we want to do other things. Alright, so we do want a deactivate and an activate function for this. I know, pretty much. Alright, so we're going to do auto show. It's going to be false. So what we want to do is show and hide our root elements. Alright, so if we are active, we're going to do stuff. Otherwise, we're going to do something else. So I guess maybe I should have prototype methods for these things, so like update active and update inactive. Okay, so update inactive first frame is going to be false when we do that. Okay, so if this is in training level, alright, so what we need to do is if this dot screen dot what, I guess chat is active. I put it as chat is available. Whatever. This will be a shit show anyway. I guess I can just do this is in training level, and chat available we can just get rid of. Alright, so document act valid text in this over chat area. I do not know how this hover thing works. Let me see. So we have function. Oh, okay, so we're actually passing in two functions. In event, out event, alright. Okay, so that's just a hover thing with jQuery. So that's good. Last chat active time. Okay, so simple chat widget, send chat message, and on chat messages, G gameplay, send chat messages, tap chat chest entry. Alright, so I guess we're gonna need to have like something for the chat widget. Alright, so scroll chat is not a function. Yeah, chat's a little bit special with some of this stuff, but I don't think we're actually going to have to call scroll chat anymore because when we're done we won't have a post-game screen. It's just a chat widget that already should have everything inside of it. So we can just check some of this out. And nothing works. Okay, so, let's see. What we want to do here is, looks like the T key isn't working for getting our focus. So get controls, alright, so chat. Okay, so push to chat is going to be true, so yeah, we can just get rid of some of this stuff. So it's actually looking like this right now, which is what we want. Okay, so we broke out the simple chat widget, which is actually not really that simple, but whatever. It at least cut off all of that code from our main loop, which is very good. An actual thing. Alright. Okay, so simple chat is good. Why don't we grab the in-game stats? This could be really fucking messy. Well, let's just copy this thing out and start working on it. so what is our stats container? It's in-game stats container. Alright, so that'll be our stats, refresh, and everything else. Alright, and what should we call this widget? This is not the simple chat widget, this is the in-game stats widget. In-game stats widget. Alright, so we need the user stats folder. Alright, so that actually looks like it might be actually separated a little bit, which is pretty nice. Alright, some other things to write down. Widgets which need overhaul. We need the in-game stats. It needs to use clone to create its HTML, and it doesn't, so that's a bit of a problem. Because we got like this inline creation of divs, which is just stupid. It's not. A lot of this is also we're trying to figure out how the hell we're actually making our UI inside of the system. There's a lot of that here where it's just pretty piss poor. Alright, the other thing we need to do is we need to actually make this widget. So that should make that. Well, where in the hell is tab or whatever, like... Well, thank you for hosting, Adam. He got around to it. He finally did it. Alright, so we got this data structure, and yeah, right now I'm trying to get the UI over to a system where we can actually have different states and different widgets and like different game modes and crap like that. Yeah, we should just change it into a game of PUBG and just like, fuck it, we're not making bracket sack anymore. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make hacking tools for PUBG and get banned, but we'll just keep making bot accounts, and that's just what we'll do. Thank you for hosting, Karakan. Bitey Royale. Well, it's not completely out of the cards, right? Like, with the new servers, we could have quite a few people in there, and we could add to those game options that you get kicked if you get punched too many times or something. Turn on friendly fire, and just let people punch the shit out of each other. I think it'd be a pretty quick game, though. So the question is, where in the fuck, like, we've got user stats holder and all these other stats things, but where are we actually making the stats turn on and off? Alright, so let's see if this does it. This is not defined. 375. 375. Okay, here we are. So I think what I need here is the simple chat widget stuff. No, it's the auto show. Alright, so we're actually updating this thing. Fetch Twitch picture. Alright, so post game toggle stats is true. Tab is stats visible is true. Post game always shows stats. Okay, well that's incorrect. We want that. Stats visible is false. Stats refresh is 0. Stats container. So it's not stats container, it's a root element. Alright, this is not post-game stats refresh rate. Let's go to our globals and see what we got. Yeah, okay, so it's in-game stats refresh rate and... Alright, yeah. In-game stats fade out. Just like that. Alright. Root element, fade 2. Alright, so it's... So it's doing that now. Yeah, so this might not make a whole lot of sense, as I'm basically re-implementing what we already have, but I'm re-implementing it in a way that pulls all the logic out of these like big screen transition things and puts it into a system where we have these kind of widget-based things where the widget takes care of itself, and the game state basically says like, oh, I'm in the game over screen, so activate all the widgets that should be active in the game over screen or lobby or whatever, and that way we don't have to like copy paste a whole bunch of stuff for different screens. It's the same thing, we're just turning it on and off. Alright, well, we don't actually have any data on here, which is not how it's supposed to be. So on match stats updated, so we have all this stuff. So stats players length is 16, user stats holder has player ID. We're probably just not attaching this stuff, so we want the yeah, so it's this in-game stats container. So we have the container class. The container is going to be left stats container and then the right stats container. Alright, so we haven't set those. Okay, so now it looks like this, which is what it's supposed to look like. Alright, good. Okay, so we pulled the stats out. So what's the next thing that we can pull out? I guess the clock text, or I guess we can pull the clock out. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. I wanna grab some water. Alright, so we want to pull out the team widgets on the sides. I guess the other thing we could do is clean this crap up here to be something that actually has the right stuff on it, and I don't think these classes have anything to do with each other. Alright, so we got the left and the right look, they just look identical. So why don't we, while we're in here, let's just start fixing crap. Let's try to get it all into something that doesn't completely suck. So how does this thing work? It's got a container div, and then it's got a picture div, a name div, a ping div, and all this stuff. So we have all these attached to a container. So we got 1, 2, yeah. And then the rest of these are just nameplate class. Alright, this is user picture, this is user name. And the rest of these are just user stat. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stats. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Assists, touches, attacks, own goals. Alright. Okay, so that'll be there, and what we need to do is inside of our creation we need to get our base this done. Base user stat line is going to be this.mScreen.getChild element by ID. So that'll give us that. And then we need to clone this thing off of here. Alright, so if these are stats is null, then I have to clone this thing off. Okay, so we'll have cloned the thing here, so the container div on this is going to be the root node. So the pick div is going to be get child by ID, ID. Alright, so that is going to be the picture. This will be the name. So stat ping, stat goals, stat assists, stat touches, stat attacks, and stat own goals. Okay, and then we're going to add our container class. All we actually want to do is just, we're just going to set extra. And we'll use the whole dot notation thing. And that'll set all the things. So that will let us clone all this crap and all that, supposedly. So let's make sure we got it all saved, and then let's refresh and see what we have completely broken. We've completely broken everything, so source.clone is not a function. Did we ever add this thing to anything? We actually have to attach it, I'm pretty sure. Well, what was the... It was append to container? And our CSS here, basically we want to get rid of all of these things. So I think this should cover what we're trying to do. So something like that. I guess we should call this team container. Maybe that'll do it. In-game user stats container, in-game stats container. Alright, so this is fine. The issue is that our I think it's user stats line is